wanna take it slow. Just wanna let you know. Ready to spend some time. I wanna spend some time. Needed some time to grow. Just wanna let you know. Ready to.
What's up, guys? Thanks so much for tuning in today's video. K Squad, hope all is well. I'm Kara. If you're new, welcome to the K's Ways channel, where I like to inspire you to do it your way. So on this channel, we like to do beauty, lifestyle, and as you read the title, today we are going to do a little bit of decluttering. I'm also going to swatch my whole concealer collection, and I have quite a bit of them. You'll find that I do buy multiples of certain concealers, especially if I like the formula or if I feel like I don't get a right shade match. Some of these might not be the right shade match, so that's why we need to do a little bit of decluttering. Some might be expired. It's been a while since I did a concealer declutter. I did recently post a video where I emptied out my everyday makeup drawer, and this is actually the empty organizer that I had in that drawer. I'm gonna use this, and you can remove some of these things. So if you want to have more space, maybe you want to put makeup brushes, these come out as well. But I like the fact that it has the dividers so that I can organize things a little bit better. But it comes with this, and then it also comes, can you see? So this is a 3-compartment organizer. I keep some of my lip balms, lip stains. I have my setting sprays and some cream products over here, cream and liquids. I have all my organizers actually linked in the description box below because they are all from Amazon, easily affordable, and it just makes your space look nice and neat. And guys, in order for me to get this frame, I actually ended up like rotating things on my vanity, and I like my vanity just to be clean like that. I'm kind of thinking I need to find a place to put this brush holder. I don't really want my brushes out anymore. You know, we're always revamping things. Then I have another organizer. This organizer holds my lip products. These are my brow products. These are my mascaras and tools. I have makeup cleaners. I have my Fenty Skin. This is the hand mask. My razor. I have some makeup wipes, which I'm going to need those because we're going to be decluttering. So we're going to be swatching as well in this video. So let me keep those handy. I also have my e.l.f. Line and Define eye tapes when I want like that defined line on the corners of my eyes when I'm doing my eyeshadow looks. Alright, so I got y'all zoomed in just a little bit closer so y'all can get a good close up on what's going on here. I'm just going to grab and go. Actually, let's start with the correctors, because I spoke to you guys about the Huda Beauty corrector in the last video. I initially picked up the Huda Beauty Faux Filter corrector in the shade Papaya, and then I recently just picked up the shade Peach. I still had it in the Sephora bag, guys, but I do have the Peach shade now, and I will definitely be keeping both of these. But let me show you what this correctors look like. Swatch. So that's Peach, which the opacity is serious with Huda's products. So I'm excited to see how that works as a corrector for me, because the Papaya just seemed to be a little bit too deep, and I told a story about how they said that they seen it shining through underneath my makeup, so I thought that was a little bit too deep for me right now. So, and especially because I've been using like skin tints and powder foundation, I don't really go on top of it with like heavy foundation. I think there's a time and place for a color corrector with that shade, but with the looks I be going for, I think the lighter shade will work out better for me. So I'm hoping that I enjoy this formula. So we're gonna put the color correctors here. Another color corrector I have, which I haven't even opened yet. Y'all remember the OG Matte Pep and Prime? It's really a highlighter, guys, but we used it as a color corrector. Well, I know I used it as a color corrector, so that's what the mechanism looks like, and it's brand new. So looking at the shade of that, you can see why we would use it as a color corrector. I'm going to take it out the box and start to get some use out of that. So we'll have a little color correction section over here. I think this is also a color corrector. This is number 310 of the Charlotte Tilbury. It doesn't say the name of it, but it's her color corrector in the pot here. And it's that orangey shade. So I like it. You can see the dip in it. I use this a lot. And it's more of a bright orange. And this being a cream texture, you just can tap it on and it builds up so nicely once you tap it on and layer it underneath your makeup. It's really nice. I really enjoyed this one, so of course I'm going to hang on to that as well. Nice orangey color corrector and not so potent. Like if you compare this orange compared to the Huda Beauty orange, I feel like I have to do a little bit more work. You can't apply too much product. You just have to be careful with the amount of product that you're putting on with the Huda Beauty. Where this taps out and blends so nicely. So that's a good color corrector that I'm definitely going to keep in my rotation. I'm trying to think of any other color correctors I may have. I know there are some. Actually, where's the Bobbi Brown? Of course, another fave. I used to have the pot color corrector of this, but this is the Bobbi Brown Skin Corrector Stick, and this is in the shade Very Deep Bisque. And this is another one. This is a fave. And I like the cream color correctors because, again, I can just easily use my fingers to tap out that color, and it looks so good. So this is more on the peachy side, not as orangey. I think there is like a shade after this, but that Very Deep Bisque shade works perfectly for me. I think this is the last color corrector I have. This is the Fenty Beauty Bright Fix. I have mine in the shade Pumpkin, and that's what that looks like. It's filthy because I used to use the mess out of this as well. I need to start getting new products and use what I have, because why do I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 color correctors? Like, this one is, again, super orangey, and it takes care of the darkness and hyperpigmentation that I be trying to cover up. But this one, with the mechanism that it has, it doesn't have like a wand where I can, you know, just glide it across my face or place it exactly where I want to. So this, I have to usually use this with a brush. Wow, it looks like this one is breaking up. Wait, this looks crazy. And that's because I think I've had it for too long. Wait, that's that MAC one. Look how it's breaking up. Like, it's separated. Y'all, I zoomed y'all in. Look at how that MAC highlighter is like separated like that. And I've had it. I remember I had a backup, and I just haven't reached for this backup, but I think this has to go. Like, you can see how it bled into the cracks of my hands, and it's separated. It's two different colors. I don't know, that's looking a little crazy. And then once I touch it, it rubs into be another color. Weird. I don't know how I feel about that, y'all. I don't know if I want that on my skin, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of it, which is sad because to me it was like brand new. But again, I have had it in my collection for some years. It was a backup that I just had never went to reach for again, which I'm mad because that's like a waste of money. And I really did love this product. This is an OG staple product from MAC Cosmetics. So I'm kind of sad about that, but you know, better safe than sorry. I don't want no breakouts on my skin. But that gave me perfect time to go ahead and clean off my hand. Let's get into some of these concealers. I'm going to grab the Tower 28 concealer, one of my favorite concealers. It's called the Serum concealer, and mine is in the shade SGV, whatever that means. But this one is really close to my skin tone. Actually, it comes off as a little bit deeper, but once you actually blend it out, I feel like it's the perfect color to just conceal and not highlight. It's my perfect everyday go-to kind of concealer. So this is definitely staying in the rotation. This is like a fave at the moment. This is the Natasha Denona Hy-Glam concealer. And this one, I don't know, it's hit and miss with me. Like, some days I really like it, and then some days I'm just like, I don't see the hype. But it is a pretty concealer. I have the shade NP14. I actually ended up, when I first bought it, I bought the wrong shade. I can't remember what the shade was that I bought, but I definitely did buy the wrong shade the first time, but I went back and changed it for this, and I do like it more with this one. As you can see, again, another concealer that's pretty close to my skin tone, especially my facial skin. Like, it looks, I'm doing it on the under part of my arm, so it looks like it's kind of deeper for my skin, but if I was on the other side, then you may get a better view. But trust me, this is close to my skin tone, and I enjoy it. I'm definitely going to keep using it. This here is the Tarte Ultra Creamy Shape Tape Concealer. Mine was in the shade 53G. I really did enjoy this concealer, but just looking at it, I think it's expired. I've used all the way down to here. I'm like literally at the bottom of it, and I should have just went ahead and finished it up. Again, I have that problem where I use something, I love something, and then I stop using it because I got something new. But this one right here, it says that the shelf life is 6 months after opening it, and I'm pretty sure it's been about 2. I even smelled it. Yeah, I don't like the way it smells either. So I've definitely had this for at least 2 to 3 years at this point. But the Tarte Ultra Creamy one is way better than the original version in my opinion, because I am a dry skin girly. So I'm just gonna go ahead and declutter it. The shade that I had here was deep golden, and I will swatch it for you guys, but I'm definitely gonna get rid of it. But it was pretty decent. I definitely did enjoy this formula. And I know Ulta usually runs deals where you can get the Tarte Shape Tape for like 50% off at some time. So I mean, you can tell from the amount of concealers that I have, I honestly don't need to repurchase it, but this is one that I would recommend. Like if you're looking for something on a budget and you do see that sale pop up, you might want to try this because it's really nice. I can see my LYS. I think I have a third concealer from LYS as well. Oh yeah, it's right here. So I have 3 shades of the LYS Triple Fix Full Coverage Concealer. I actually bought all 3 of these with my own money. There are times, there's some stuff in my collection that LYS did send me, but these 3 concealers I purchased with my own money. And I love these concealers. They're nice and lightweight. I love a nice serum light concealer. So this shade here is DG3. So that's DG3. Like you see that? Like the way it glides. And it's like a beautiful serum texture. I like the wand. Even though it was like a little flimsy and it's weird to like get it in and out of the mechanism. But it's all good. I mean, I'll put up with it. The next shade that I have is TG7. So that's TG7. That first shade, of course, is more neutrally. This one is warmer. And then we have the shade DPN1, which this one, I don't really get much use out of it because it is deeper. You can see that's definitely deeper. But I wasn't sure what shade I would be. So maybe I should get rid of the deeper one. Because in the fashion of decluttering and things, I think I'm just going to keep the shades that actually work for me. So unfortunately, DPN1. It's a nice, beautiful chocolate shade, and I used to wear it. I used to use it for definition on my face, like contourish kind of situation. But I honestly don't contour too much, and if I do, I have cream bronzers and things like that that I would use as opposed to using this concealer. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that. Then we have this was actually a repurchase because I went through a full size of this. This is like one of my favorite concealers. This is the Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. I have the shade Mahogany, and I have used a different shade before. I can't remember the name of it, but let me show you what Mahogany looks like real quick. Like, first of all, the amount of product that you get in this packaging, you get a good 15 milliliters worth of product. Like, you get your bang for your buck with this one, and it's such a beautiful formula as well. That's what Mahogany looks like swatched. Really close to my skin tone, but you see it's like a little bit warmer, so it actually adds more like a color corrector as well. So it's really nice, guys. So definitely keeping this in the rotation. That concealer is definitely not going nowhere. I have 3 of the NYX Bear With Me concealers. This is another serum like concealer. Absolutely love this formula, and all 3 of these shades actually work for me. So I have the shade Sand, which is definitely more neutral toned, but I like to use this one when I want to add a little bit of brightness to my skin. So maybe I usually mix that one with a different shade, which most likely is the shade Deep Golden, because this is the one that matches my skin the most. So that's Deep Golden right there. And then the last shade that I have is Camel, which I think this one might be a little deeper than my skin. Oh no, it's actually kind of close to my skin tone as well. So that's why I said all 3 shades could definitely work for me, and I'm definitely keeping this. Perfect if you're looking for a drugstore concealer. Definitely recommend the NYX Bear With Me Serum Concealers. Now this one is one that I have mixed emotions. I'm still like in the process of testing this one out. This is the Kofi Main Match Concealer. I have mine in the shade Faluda Fizz. So let me show you guys what this one looks like. I do like the applicator of it, and it looks like it would be a really decent shade match for me. I'm not sure. There's just something that I don't necessarily love with this concealer, but I'm way past the time of returning it. I just feel like I need to test this one out a little bit more. So now we have the Givenchy Prism Leave Skincare and Concealer. I actually wore this one yesterday. This is another one. Like, it was a newer concealer where I felt like I just couldn't get with the hype of it. Everybody was like, oh, I love this concealer. It has nice coverage. It's nice and comfortable, but I don't think it's like necessarily my favorite. I think because it's a little bit more on the matte side, and again, I am a drier skin girly, so I feel like this is not like the perfect concealer for myself, but I do enjoy it. I wear it from time to time, but I wanted to test it again yesterday once I came across it, because I was like, I don't know, it was just another one like the Natasha Denona, and I don't know if that one is more of a matte texture. I haven't worn it in a while to remember. With the Givenchy being a little bit more on the matte side, that's why it's not like necessarily my favorite, but I will definitely keep it because, you know, I paid my coins for it. So this is the shade N390. Well, if you don't know, on normal days when going to work, my usual routine is concealer and powder. Like, that is it. I'm not doing all the eyeshadow and all the extras. So my concealer, I kind of feel like I'm like a concealer aficionado, you know what I mean? So this one, when this came out maybe like a year or two ago, this is the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Radiant Concealer, and I don't know if it was the shade range that they had. Mine is in the shade Deep 15, and I went ahead and swatched it right here. This one is also more of a neutral tone, close to my skin tone shade. But I don't know, it was just something about this concealer that, I didn't necessarily fall in love with. I wouldn't say it was a drying concealer or anything of that nature, but I don't know, it's just something, I think it kind of oxidizes too. Look how dark that got since I swatched it. I went to check and see if somebody was at my door, and I feel like I came back and it kind of, the color changed. So that was the thing with this concealer for me. I don't feel like it looked the same by the time I came home. I'm going to continue testing it, and I don't know if that one's going to stay in my collection, but I have a little section here of things that I need to continue testing, and if I'm not falling in love with it, I honestly need to get rid of it. Speaking of something that I didn't necessarily fall in love with, this is the Makeup Forever HD Skin Smooth and Blur Undetectable Concealer. I have mine in the shade 4.0Y, and this one I've actually been reaching for a lot lately. So that's what it looks like. I love the color of it. I love the applicator of it. But the formula, I feel like it could have a little bit more coverage. It's more on the low medium side of coverage, and with concealers I like to conceal, you know, that's why I'm buying a concealer. I want it to like cover up the darkness underneath my eyes and any hyperpigmentation or spots that I may have around my face. And for this, I feel like I usually use it, but I use it mixed with a different concealer. So again, one that's not my favorite, but it's, you know, it's decent, it's doable. So I'm gonna hang on to that one. This is the Ami Collet concealer. I have mine in the shade Deep 2.5. I don't know, I feel like I need to get down to the bottom to some of my faves, because now I feel like a broken record. But this one, again, not a fave for me for some reason. I think number one, it could be the shade match. Again, my shade is in the shade Deep 2.5, but it is more of a neutral and lighter kind of shade. Actually, the lightest shade of everything that's on my arm right now, so I can see why it's a little bit off-putting to me in a way. But she's a black owned brand. This is actually the Ami Collet Skin Enhancing Concealer. So she is a black owned brand. This is another one that I tend to use mixed in conjunction with another concealer, just because I feel like it's a little bit too bright for me. But I am going to hang on to that one, keep that in the rotation. Okay, so this is one that I love. Let's get back to love. I feel like I've been just like, oh, I don't know. This is the One Size Turn Up the Base concealer. This one is in the shade Deep 2, and this one is also one that is not the perfect shade for me. Actually, you can see it is a little bit actually deeper, but I feel like it's a good color correcting kind of shade. So I would use this shade, and then I would go on top of it with one of those lighter shades that I was just talking to you guys about. So this one is kind of deeper. It's close to my skin tone, and I think it does a good job with like color correction, and I like the formula of it. I actually need a different shade of this. I may have to revisit this and get another shade of the Turn Up the Base One Size Concealer, because it is a really good formula. So definitely hanging on to that. I'm missing my second shade of Lancome, but this is the Lancome Tank Idol Ultra Wear All Over Concealer. Okay, so this one is in the shade 460, and I think the second one that I have is in the shade 500. When I find it, I'll swatch it, but let's go ahead and I'm gonna show you what 460 looks like. This is like the beautiful, smoothest, creamy texture. It glides on so smooth. It blends out so well. It keeps its pigmentation, and it's the perfect medium coverage concealer. One of my favorites, so definitely hanging on to that. Going back to another concealer that just wasn't for me. Now, I'm sitting here talking about I like coverage. I want my concealer to cover. Well, this one is thick and covers, okay? So this is the Bobbi Brown Skin Full Cover Concealer. I have mine in the shade Almond. And when I tell you homegirl does coverage, like, that is one thick concealer, and I think the thickness of it kind of like gets to me a little bit. So I don't like to apply a lot of it, and then when I don't apply a lot of it, I don't feel like I'm getting the full coverage. Like, it's the weirdest thing, but this is one, again, I'm going to hang on to. I'm going to test it out and see if it's something that I want to keep in my collection. It's kind of on the newer side. I think I got it sometime maybe last year, and I do need to show it a little bit more love. So we'll get back to that. I have the Hourglass. This is a favorite. This is the Hourglass Vanish Concealer, and this one is in the shade Velvet. I also have a mini, because I love this so much, I had to get a brightening shade, right? So I also have the shade Maple. Let me show you what Velvet looks like. This one is perfect match. Like, the creaminess of this, I just love a good creamy coverage and concealer. That is my gist. So that is really beautiful, and that's close to my skin tone. But then I went ahead and got a lighter shade so that I can have a little highlight action, and that one is in the shade Maple. They're not so affordable where you feel like, oh, I can just buy two. So I'm glad that they do have the option to have minis, but just something to keep note of. But definitely one of my favorite formulas. I have two of the Sephora Best Skin Ever Full Coverage Multi-Use Concealer. I have the shades 44Y and I have the shades 50N. And from jump, this was just never my favorite concealer, guys. Oh, this one, I feel like I didn't even open this shade. Maybe I might like this shade better. So that's the shade 44Y. Maybe I need to try 44Y before I give up on these. But I use 50N quite a bit. And that was just me trying to test it out, because everybody was saying, like, this is so good. Actually, 50N definitely is more neutral than the 44N. But the shade is not that far off, so I may do better with the 44Y. I'm gonna hang on the 44Y, but I am gonna get rid of this 50 neutral, because I just know this is not my gist. This concealer here, this is the Maybelline Superstay Active Wear 30-hour up to 30-hour concealer. I can't remember, but just looking at the formula through the vial, it's not looking like it's still good anymore. I haven't used this in a long time. But I don't know if I was like the hugest fan of this. Oh no, actually that looks pretty good. But it looks like something that I have like 50 times over. And just from the sheer packaging of it, that it looks like it's spoiled. And I'm pretty sure I've had this over a year. It says once you open it, 6 months is the shelf life once you open it. So I'm pretty sure this has gone bad. This one is in the shade 57, in case you're wondering. So the Maybelline Superstay, I actually have a brand new Maybelline concealer. It's a repurchase. The Instant Magic Erase Concealer, one of my favorites from Maybelline. So I'm gonna bust that out shortly. So I think I feel good. I'm okay with getting rid of this because I know it is expired. This is the Kat Von D Lightweight Full Coverage Concealer. I have two shades. I have Tan 177 and Tan 173. Let me show you what Tan 173 looks like. I really enjoyed this concealer. Kat Von D, y'all know, her products, their brand always smells like pink. That's the 173. Not the ideal shade for me, so I think I'm okay with getting rid of 173. But I am going to hang on to 177 and try to use this up, because I really did enjoy that formula. Actually, I felt like I had to mix both of those shades in order to get a shade that's good for me. And as it's drying, I'm looking at it and it's looking, let me see, oh, well, y'all already all zoomed in. But it looks like it's separating just a little bit. So these might be like 2-3 years old. If I'm not mistaken, if my eyes are seeing correctly, that says 6 months. I'm going to have to let those go. This Haus Labs concealer, this is her Triclone Skin Tech Concealer. I have actually yet to try the Haus Labs foundation that everybody was raving about, but I definitely had to get my hands on the concealer. This is another one that was newer to my collection and definitely close to my skin tone. Here's the Haus Labs concealer swatched here. I like the creaminess and the cushioniness of this concealer. I have mine in the shade 43 medium deep golden, and I am definitely going to hang on to this one. I need to get more wears with that one, because that was another one that was kind of hit and miss. Like, I didn't instantly fall in love with that concealer, but I'm willing to continue trying it. One that I do love is the Huda Beauty. This is the Faux Filter Concealer. Honestly, with my love for the concealer is one of the reasons why I wanted to get my hands on the color corrector, because when it comes to Huda Beauty, let me tell you, her products don't be missing, okay? So I have mine in the shade Salted Caramel, and I'm definitely going to keep this and use this up. I'm splashing concealer all over the place, but that is what Salted Caramel looks like on me. Love that formula. Adds perfect coverage, and yeah, definitely gonna hang on to that. Keep that in the rotation. The Pat McGrath Labs concealer. When I first got it, I wasn't the hugest fan of it, but I think it was because of the shade. Because when I got this shade, D29, let me tell you, this is my perfect shade, and such a beautiful concealer. Like, this was like one that I was going for pretty much on a daily basis. I absolutely love this concealer. Again, it glides on so smooth. It feels so thin and lightweight, and it gives the coverage that I'm looking for. So what more can I ask for in a concealer? Definitely hanging on to that. This is the Dominates Cosmetics concealer. I have mine in the shade Cafe de Canela. I ordered this from her website, and I am not disappointed. I love this concealer. It's nice and serum-like. See, I either like a creamy concealer or a nice serum-like concealer. So look at that, like, really nice. I mean, the shade is not perfect, but it does a nice job at brightening. Oh, and let me show y'all that wand, that cooling tip wand. Oh, it feels so good underneath the eyes, guys. And it just does what it has to do. It's nice and thin, lightweight, and does the coverage. So, again, just what I'm looking for. So, obviously, that's staying in my collection. Now, I have the old Dior Skin Forever, and then I have the new version. I hated the old version, but when they came out with the new one, y'all, let me tell you, I love the Dior Forever Skin Correct, the new version. This one is actually, I tried to use it. I would actually prefer the old version all over my face as opposed to as a concealer. I would use it as a foundation just to make sure I was getting my money's worth, because y'all know Dior ain't cheap. But looking at it now, I can tell it's kind of separating. I used a pretty good amount of it, so I'm comfortable with getting rid of the old version. But the new one, I'm so happy that they reformulated it and came out with a better version. I do have the same shade, 5N, and I'm only gonna swatch the 5N in the new version just so that y'all can see. But I do have videos on my channel if y'all want to see the old version compared to the new version. I'll try to find it and put it in the cards, but that's just like the perfect concealer. I love the formula, I love the application, and I love everything about that concealer. So of course she ain't going nowhere either. Y'all, I have the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer. I have mine in the shade Medium Dark 3, which is Amande. Oh my gosh, when I tell you I can't carve out my eyebrows with nothing but this, like, it's like the perfect consistency, so creamy, glides so smoothly, and it does such a good job at concealing. Sometimes I will use this around my face, mainly above my mouth where I have like hyperpigmentation from eczema scars. So I will sometimes use that if I'm going for like a more full coverage, heavier kind of concealer. But for the most part, I use this one just to clean up my eyebrows. Love it, and of course that ain't going nowhere. I have one here in a box that I've been testing out lately. This is my newest concealer purchase. This is the Say Slip Tint Radiant All Over Concealer. I have mine in the shade 19. I don't find that it gives so much radiance. Like, it's nothing that's too off-putting to me. So let me show y'all what the Say concealer looks like. Something close to my skin tone. It's a little warmer, a little on the warmer side if you ask me, but it's doable. And I've been using this. When I said I've been mixing concealers, I've actually been using the Say with the Makeup Forever pretty heavily. So this has been a go-to combination for me, and I can tell why, because that concealer shade, just swatching it, makes it look a little warmer than I like. And then the last concealer here is the e.l.f. Flawless Brightening Concealer. I did have a time with this one. I enjoyed this, but I'm not sure if it's still good. On that, first of all, I like the applicator where I can just go in and add a little bit of brightness if I need to. Not the best for coverage, but it's definitely one of those go-tos for brightening. I'm pretty good with mixing concealers. Should I hang on to this? I don't think it adds a lot of coverage. And does e.l.f. have another concealer? Is this the only concealer that e.l.f. has? Oh no, they have the ones. I don't have no more. I must have decluttered those in the last one. But remember, yeah, I think I decluttered those because they just wasn't working for me anymore. But I think I'm good with actually getting rid of this. And going through my collection back here with all the primers and stuff, I realized I have the Urban Decay Naked Quickie Concealer, and I have the shade 70 and N. This is a concealer that is a little bit more on the matte side, but I have been enjoying it now that it is hot outside, so I'm definitely reaching for this a little bit more. It is more of a neutral tone concealer, and this is another concealer formula where I felt like they could definitely benefit from having more shades in the collection, because the concealer shade after this, actually Urban Decay did send me a package where they gave me this shade, which I ended up giving away, and it actually gave me a deeper shade. I think I gave away both of those shades, but the deeper shade was the shade that was right after this, and the one that's before this is a little bit too light for me. So they can definitely benefit from expanding the line, but I'm good with the one that I have. So definitely going to hang on to that, get more use out of that, because I have been reaching for that a lot more lately. So there we have it. That is all the concealers in my collection. I'm able to declutter 8 concealers. Again, we are getting rid of one of the shades of the Sephora Best Skin Ever, getting rid of both of my shades of the Kat Von D because they're just expired. Another expired product, which is the Tarte Ultra Creamy Concealer. We're getting rid of the e.l.f. Flawless Brightening Concealer. Love the concept, could definitely use a little bit more coverage. I'm getting rid of one of my shades of the LYS Concealer just because of the shade. It's a little deeper for my skin. And then we have the Maybelline Superstay, again expired, that has to go. And then last but not least, another expired but not a favorite product of mine in any shape, way, or form. It was the original formulation of the Dior Forever Skin Correct Concealer. So yeah guys, 8 concealers. I feel pretty good. And look at the organization. Let me back y'all on up a little bit. So that is the organization. That's how my concealers are going to be looking and living right now. Definitely stay tuned because I will be tackling primers. I appreciate you guys for taking the time to tune in today. Hope you guys are enjoying your day, your week. I'm going to go ahead and pop up some videos here on the screen. You can check out our playlist. You can definitely subscribe. If you hit my face, that'll get you to subscribe to my channel. You definitely don't want to miss out on future videos, and I would love to have you as a subscriber here on the K-Space channel. K-Squad, y'all know I appreciate every time y'all come and chill with me, spend a little bit of time with me. It is much appreciated. And yeah, I hope to catch each and every one of you in the next video. Until next time, y'all, stay blessed.